Looks good. Okay. Oh, put it on the starting screen.
Ready?
Put it on the starting screen. There you go. Wait, something. Already chat?
That was me.
Okay. Wow, that's pretty good.
That's not bad. I'm watching. I'm watching myself, and it's not bad.
I think I'm funny.
That's great. Oh, yeah. Who is this clown? Well, that's him.
No, I know this guy.
It's the one and only idiot. Yeah. It's me. It's me.
I always do that though. It was loud. I'm like,
yeah, I think that's going to be really. Oh, you know what I did do? Just in case. Yeah, this thing. In case. Can I get a little bit of a comparison here? Which wasn't bad, but. Oh. Yeah, those two. That helps.
darn complex passwords. Oh my gosh, you got to do this.
You know what? I just hope my mind lasts long enough to remember some of the ones I've got. Although I do have to admit, I'm getting better at it. I was always going through it.
Okay. You see any cars there? Oh, now it shows up. It was a different image a second ago.
Interesting.
Oh god. I thought this was the second one. Like, see, like, what is that? I can't tell what the heck that is.
I can't either.
Like a terrible CCT camera, and then I have to do this anyway.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, when security breaks terribly.
Wow.
Just,
wow. Nuts.
Okay, now I can do it. I want to post live. E12, G2. Buttons. All right. I have yelled.
Let's go to live cam. All set there, Chief.
Hi, Doc.
There we go. Live cam. There it is. Well, welcome to the Dream Labs. Dr. Contrast here, and very much live and looking for, hey, Linear, how are you? Good to see you. Hi, Doc. Looking forward to today's show. Me too, because I have a very special guest. One of my sidekicks here is a lot of talent, knows a lot about this stuff, much more than I will ever know about what this process is. We're going to look at some G12 interior concept studies, cockpit studies. And I want to go back just a little bit from our last go-around. We had this conversation about a week or so ago, but I think it's really important to go back and review this for all of our attentions here to be sure to focus on what we're going to try to accomplish today. We're going to, Shad, what do you think? I mean, there's some things we talked about. Some of the earlier studies we were looking at, for example, like in this study, a little bit of an elevation, but it was a little bit stretched, but it was also open and a little bit static in the rear quarter area. But we had some character going on with the upper and the intakes. So do you think that still holds pretty true as far as the concept goes?
Well, no, we were talking about this offline, is about how that kind of made this all flat up top, and we both agreed on it. And then, you also last week went through and I helped pull this through.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yep.
giving that a little bit more of a character. Yeah, because as soon as you come flat, you're basically just tumbling air at that point.
Yeah,
so you want to use
point.
it. So yeah, and that's kind of where we were discussing this.
Yeah, I think the other thing too, it's just for the audience's review here. I think one of the things that disturbed me too was a little bit not disturbed, but just started questioning the aero systems here. A little bit narrow in the cockpit. Maybe we want to widen that out. We've got some open space in here, but this looked really clumsy as far as getting too thin. And what do you do with that open module in through here, for example, to come back into the wide line where the engines are located? So I think a lot of, not a lot of fuss, but a lot of attention should be paid to when we get into the final exterior study, when we do 3/4 fronts and so forth. Really take advantage more of that shark nose look that the original G12 had. Yeah. Not too wide, but enough to get away from this mouse nose.
Well, yeah, an inch or two in the inside. That makes up a lot of room. Huge. So, yeah.
And I think adding the strap, and we'll show you in a moment here what we added here, gang. Adding the strap across the nose was functional, and we'll show you that in a moment as to why we did that. Structural piece, yes, and entry egress, that's another aspect of it. But the third thing was, and we'll show you in a minute here, that became a great, like a cross member or T system to hang the digital systems off for the cockpit and for the pilot's reference. So that'd be kind of neat. So that goes there. Let's get this guy out of the way. Now we're going to the rear end of this thing. Now this starts to make some sense. I still like that look. I don't know how you feel about it.
Oh, no, I love it. Yeah, I think that's great. It's very, very origin looking too.
It's really gutty, but I think a lot of this bothers me a little. This almost like this like Ford F-50 rear deck in this thing. Doesn't hey, Fenix, how you doing?
Hey, Fenix, how's it going?
How's it going, Chief?
Background. Hey, Lenny, how's it going? Good to see you guys.
We forgot to put the light on, a little symbol in the air there.
Yeah, right.
So we're good. But I think this is we've got some character here, but I want to do more. Well, let me refresh that. We should maybe look at that's so static back here. Do we need that? Do we have to slump that down and take some of the neuron or the electrical systems and so forth, the hydrogen processing, and then the exhaust and then this undertray, I think is that from there on down. To me, that thing really. Oops, let me get my hands in the way. That from there on down really works really well, I think.
Yeah, and we also had a lot of option of pulling that air from behind here. I mean, there's this, and this is something we were talking about offline as well, is making this as an actual 3D model when we're done. Because we still not there's so much space in there that you don't realize how. So yeah, there's a lot of air in there that we could play with and use. And coming off the back of the car, that's where you need the most downforce.
No, I fully agree. I think there's a lot of like the illustration side. I mean, we have a good concept in line here. We've seen this thing inside and outside, and relatively speaking.
Hey, Ballistic.
Hey, Ballistic, how you doing, Chief? Good to have you on board. Do you know the Shadow guy? He's my man here. Yeah. He's going to be the wingman here.
They don't know me.
The day. Sure they do. No problem. But back to that's a great point, Shadow. The idea of having a 3D model. I've got an associate I can work with. What I'd love to do is once we get some finalized character down about the exterior is to do a nice speed form of this, like maybe at 10 scale. Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh yeah.
If you do a 10 scale, that can be milled out of CNC and just maybe paint it like a deep charcoal or anthracite.
Ooh, yeah.
That way, if you go with a darker gray, you'll start to see some of the undercuts and some of the shadow work, and really the highlights will be really powerful.
Yeah, no, we can light it too.
Yeah, that's right. We can charcoal it.
Really see it.
Build the BBGT. All right. So there we are. but again, something about this still bothers me. But it's too cute, it's too fancy, too narrow. But I do think one of the things that was brought up, and I think Nemo brought this up, was really an interesting. Let's see, who's the real Shadow? Yeah, me too. But he just kind of blurted in.
I just kind of walked in.
But I'm glad he's here. But let me go back to last Wednesday. I was going through some, and I'll show you these sketches in a moment here. This is a review for all of us here, so hopefully bear with us. Interesting comment made last week by Nemo. That he brought up the fact that one of your signatures of this thing should be, and I brought it, and I was going through the sketch rendering format last week. What I really want to accomplish from a personal point of view was that this whole module, for example, the cockpit area, would be a survival cell and detachable.
Yep.
So you could remove this thing and put in different configurations.
Right.
And he said, it was really interesting, he said that could be your signature piece to make it ownable, or your ownership with the Shadow and yourself.
Yeah.
It becomes our process. Mm-hmm. So that's why we
had the shielded cell.
Yeah, that's right.
So that was one thing that, as a racer, you always want to be right on top of the road. You want to be able to see everything. You want to feel everything.
Right.
The problem is common safety would have you pushed back,
back.
for crash structure and stuff. We don't have to worry about that. So that's a good point.
I think it is.
Totally makes it ours.
Well, the other thing too, I think you hit it just a moment ago too, Shadows, the fact that sometimes the nose cap on this thing, if you exceed the front zero line, for example, that overhang can be a little lethal. So if we push this back and brought these forward a little bit more, and then really brought this canard system out of there, it could be a lot healthier, I think, too.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it was just a great point. It still doesn't. It just looked too designy, too cute. It didn't look gutty enough, right? Here we go. So here, let's see, ballistic cowboy. It must be a minion to sharpen pencils.
Yes, that's exactly it. That is me. That is totally me.
That's what he's going to do.
I'm a janitor.
I'm going to be the minion. He's going to do the drawing.
That'll go real well.
So we're going to be in great shape. So what do you think, Shadows? But I think a variation on that look, to me, is still powerful. I think that could really work well with the new product.
Well, we had a lot of really great rear-end designs on this, so I think we're going to revisit some of those here. So
we shall. Let's get rid of this guy. Look at those. So what do you think of this? Now, this is where we were last week. Now, I just purposely went back in, and based on a conversation with Shadow and a bunch of guys on chat here, let's see, what's Silver, what's he saying here? Something that I wondered was when you're looking to make out a luxury vehicle, a city vehicle, or a country. Yeah. XD, it looks like to me you're making the Lamborghini. Yeah, I think there you go.
Yeah, we are.
Well said, man. Better than a Lamborghini. This will be more than an Aventador.
So what happened was Phoenix, is we kind of not so much gave up on the G12 rework. we basically wanted to take it to 11-teen, all the way off the scale, and try and just go as far with it as we could possibly think. To think 900 years in the future is just impossible. Yeah. But to think, 150 or even just 50 years in the future is kind of we're just thinking as far as we can. So it's pure hydrogen powered. It's got like we said, the shielded survival cell. It has, a ridiculous amount of downforce due to, it's just proper physics and modeling. We really, with the braking system we talked about, some of those, we came into a lot of ideas that we just basically wanted to incorporate into something what would be called a traditional GTR, which is Grand Touring Racing, which is the pinnacle, the highest you can go. And usually the racing series. So that's where we're at with this. We're all the way off the scales on this one. So it's not even a G12 really anymore. It's kind of like the way when Pininfarina would take a Ferrari or Alpine would take a BMW and basically turn it into something that you can almost barely recognize.
Well, that's well said. I think one of the great lines in the history of Ferrari's development came from Giovanni Agnelli, the former chairman of CEO of Fiat, and who was the ownership at that time of Ferrari. He commissioned Enzo to do a beautiful 451 two-place coupe. And he told Enzo, very frankly, the only ground rule I have here at Ferrari is this: it will not be worth a nickel. So if he created one, if you ever had a chance to look, it's the 451S, and that thing is one of the most beautiful pieces of sculpture I've ever seen. It was Giovanni's special car. But you're right, that's what prompted this thing. Is we came off the rails a little bit because, but you be the judge. Look at that.
Yeah, which one would you rather drive?
Which one would you rather drive? You want to go to racing with this guy, or do you want to see something? Now, we're not quite there yet, but I think the personality is getting what we wanted to do, a genuine GTR car with the space commands behind it. I think that could be really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, what's it? These are all the things I remember being discussed on Top Gear. Yeah, that's right. they were good.
Good one. That's good.
So there we go. There was the first pass. Again, notice what we've done here. Here's the little clue that I thought that Chet and I were looking at was this. If you look at the original studies, that bone line came up off the wheelhouse and rolled straight back. Well, just that was one gesture, it's okay, but it created that flat spot up on top. Notice this second sketch, we took that little bit of slump into it, which kind of directs the air below into the intake, and then we kicked it up again.
Yep.
So there was the first pass at those guys. And once we looked at this thing, we said, all right, what if we did this? This is really where we're going to be going today. Look at the drive line on this thing. Part of the whole process was if we kick this line downhill and go uphill, and we kick it downhill and go uphill, then we look at the seating position in here, what is that going to do to dictate the canopy or the cockpit studies?
Right.
So I think, and again, this is really kind of a phantom plan view study when we're looking. I'm not quite there yet, but this butterfly system is a lot more wholesome. It looks guttier, but not quite refined yet.
Well, it's really fairly functional too.
Yeah, it's very functional. But again, notice it's a little bit narrow open through here. But again, this is the theme we're going to work on today. That cantilever glass. There's the fender line. This drops in. Notice we pushed the nose cone back or the nose cap back, and then we really pulled out that dihedral to really kind of funnel things off here. So what do you think, Shadow? Good stuff here?
Excuse me, I had to sneeze. So, right, and what...
Hang on.
Yeah, so one thing with the seating position is if you notice, it's very high. Yep. It's almost like forward, which is really good because what we were talking about doing is when we get into this thing, it might like curl up. Yeah, right. Because this is going to be a really low, like bend. It's kind of, I don't know, domed ceiling. Yeah. So you'll slide up into it.
Yeah, you can.
It makes really good use of the space, but it also, we were thinking of that as we're drawing the cockpit itself, is how do you actually get in and out of it?
That's right.
And especially in like an emergency situation, you want to be able to have multiple exits if you can. Now, even though Formula One cars don't have them. So, but yeah, and that's where we're trying to get to the final interior for this, so we could really bring this sucker in for a landing.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, that the concept of being able to raise it up and be able to see, because drivers want to see over, but they don't want to feel like they're on top of the car.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you've got, that's a great point. And notice again, the reason for that slump line in that seating system, if you look at the F-16 and the F-35s, there's a reason why that seat back angle is at 35 degrees. The reason is because at 35 degrees, that's the point. They call it the FS system, the fail-safe system. Under extreme G loading in an F-16, your bones will move about maybe 150% out of whack. But the G loading is such that seat in the F-16 actually pivots and drops the pilot in. Yep. Whereas we're looking at land base, we'll go the other way, and then our center on the pivot is right at the H point, right there. Yep. That's going to pivot this seat. Now notice we can go uphill or downhill. Now notice the reason that's important is this: from a sightline position, here's our cross section right here. There's that spire we were talking about. There's a cross section above, and then this is glass below. Look at the sight line down the ground.
Yeah, you're going to be able to see through the car.
He's not going to lose anything. Cool. It'll be an F-35 concept where no matter where the guy looks, he'll be able to see the track. Oh, we come back with the streamline.
Yeah, so those are the auto. So everyone, Dr. Contrast has a Discord now. It's not just for chatting. It's actually for sharing your work and learning more. And you basically can chat, learn, share. So please do join us over there. We're starting to build that up, and I think I'm really excited about it. So you're going to see those links for that stuff.
That's cool.
Well. Yep.
Very cool.
That's
well, anyway,
posted.
What do you think?
Good to see that's working.
Yeah, it is nice. But these darker components here. We'll go back. We'll get to this in a moment. But these darker components are right heads up. For example, that's a HUD display that you'll see in a moment, and these are the control systems part of in the cockpit. And this is what I call the copter creeper. It just kind of comes off that substrate in the glass, drops into the pilot sits around this thing. He's actually a part of it.
Yeah.
So
he wears the car.
Yeah, this is gonna be cool. So let's move on here. This is what we started to do. Once we had the exterior down, the interior looked at. Now notice this is what we're talking. Look at the character in that thing. Mm-hmm. Wicked.
Yeah. It does look amazing.
And for more information, there you go. Now look what happens here. We actually took that slump and just dropped it just a little bit.
Yeah, I love how that dome shows up with the top.
Yeah, dome's up and just it doesn't get so flat. I think the flatter that got, the less charming, the less speed related or functional it looked. Mm-hmm. So there was a first pass. So we went vertical. Then I thought, well, you know what? Last week we said with Nemo's help and Chip was on board as well. What if we held that line in the rear, stiffened out a little bit, and we took that forward line and cranked it forward? Mm-hmm. Not bad.
Yeah, I love that. that look.
Yeah, just enough lean to it. I don't care for this, but I think keeping that front clean would be the way to go here.
Yeah.
So, but there's the first pass. Any comment there, Shad?
No. It's so it's just like, again, that's that negative space. There's so much underneath.
This is all air,
and we can use all of that, which is really exciting. And with doing something like this, you can actually get to a point where you start to, you can actually start to use that arrow as it comes over the side of the car, tuck some of it in, bring some of it out. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely moves it. Yep. And the key thing to remember is this whole area right in here goes back to that survival cell system. Yep. So that line. Right through there.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. That is, it's there. There's like practically nothing here.
So again, let's go back to this. That line there in the interior study, that line there is the actual closed end of the cockpit right there.
Yep.
So that's part of the seat backing system.
We can do that because we got a shield.
Absolutely, a big shield behind that thing to protect this guy. So there's phase one of the studies. I mean, a little riskier. Then, all right, what if we really pushed this thing forward and really made a statement with this thing? Look at the drop line. This one to me has got some real character.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I love that design. Yeah, and keeping this clean here. Yep. I think it's
much better. This is a bit extreme. It kind of closes off the line here, but this leans a little bit more. I'm not. The livery's not there yet, but the idea of having this thing drop in and then look how blistered that is in the intake system. Notice it goes uphill then flattens up. Really nice contour system there, guys. So that's pretty cool, Shad. I mean, that was your input in terms of getting that all put together. So these are real fast little Canson sketches based on some input from last week. To get part of the process, why we did this first before the cockpit saves, to get a good feel for what that guy is doing in an elevation. So if I drew through this and came into it, that drops in, comes back around again, and that design spar is right there. So that's where we're going to hang all the stuff off of the glass. So here we go.
Good.
Ready? Here it is. Now, here's a potential what if. I don't know.
Yep.
What's missing is that lean into it. This is done prior to that change of pace. When that can go, this is going to go. But I think, notice, this looks a lot healthier here. If we go a little wider in this guy still. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, and one thing with this we have to remember is you can actually see almost practically right past that.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's not. It looks like a big ugly strut from here, but it's actually highly functional.
And that could be transparent glass too. That could be all part of the halo system underneath. Just that little thin strip right there. Yep. But the actual seating system, the cockpit guy is right about in there. So this good sight line all the way through.
Oh yeah.
But if
we brought that dip back into it there, the negative.
That revision should go. Let's just draw on top of this guy. That's not going to drop. That's going to come back in and kick uphill, a little more extreme.
Yep.
This, I really think we could open up a lot more, just a little bit more, and then begin to dovetail it, and then get more of that shark nose look to it. Yeah. Just a little cleaner to get rid of some of these struts. And this could be cleaned up a little bit too. But I think that's going to help. On the other side,
we really wouldn't need to clean to vertically clean the air here. It was more just downforce at that point.
We could actually come in below and right off the ground system with just a nice little flat out on that Bentley Super 8. Same system. Just a nice flat piece on that thing.
Yep.
Cool. Well, what do you think, guys? So far, so good. Shadow making sense?
We're getting there.
So, all right, now, from there. Now, this is where the real purpose of the stream today. Now, we built a lot of our case here, but I think it was important to go back to the history. To explain, I can just picture that front shovel picking up a rock.
You've been going so fast, that thing will go right over the top.
You wouldn't even know it.
You wouldn't even know it.
One nice thing about that, Phoenix, would be it's called instant death. So that's good.
No, he's in a shield. He's in a shield itself. Remember?
That's right.
It's just going to bounce off.
No sweat. That's funny. So here we go. We got that guy. Now the reason for all this conversation about the exterior was to kind of lead us into this. Now we started just a series of real rough studies here based on. All right, there we are. Look what begins to happen now. Now this is kind of zeroing in on what happens inside that cockpit.
Yeah, we have to understand the outside before we can do the inside.
That's right.
So
Notice this HUD system comes off of that spar, and then we're right up on top of it. There's a lot of buildup in this thing. We're going to loft it up off the cockpit floor itself. So that could be kind of an interesting approach to it. Then this again is that strength of that upper spar coming in, and the elevation, or pardon me, the rear view. This comes up, bridges, and drops back down again to the cowl. Front end is out here, and that spar is right over the top of this guy running through here. So there's a first pass at looking at some of those things. What do you think?
Yeah.
Too bulky, too much? Oh,
hey, Pixel! What's up?
How you doing?
We invited him.
Hey, good to have you on board, Pixel. What do you think, Chad? I mean, is it too clumsy still, or what?
No, I mean, I think this was a little hard to understand what was happening here.
Right.
This is much more clean.
Yeah, it is.
But we kind of have to figure out what's actually going to go on that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's really the most, because drivers want the right information, not too much.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. In this case, I started here, and all of a sudden I began to realize the section cut through here is this. Pardon me. It comes in off the sidewall into that whole upper spar, and that built a tower over the top. Then this is the underside where the tunnel is. But it's a bit on the tall side, I think, for what we're after. Hey, just got done with the meeting. Hey, cool. Good to have you on board, Pixel. What do you think? Let me get this pencil out here to show you what these are the kind of things that we go through from an exploratory point of view to make sure that our case is correct. This in scale would really not fit. We want to be a little lower than that, which really goes back to this. We want to drop this down a little bit. So that's
we'll go to the next one, because this is where we're supposed to come together. Right. Because now we've actually got we've got pertinent information here that's available when the driver wants it, but the important stuff is here. So now it's not just a single screen setup.
Right.
Plus you're starting to get the idea of what the control on this feels like. So we wanted something that's very wide and has a lot of play, but is very precise. Because at 200 plus miles an hour, a little bump that's going to make a big difference.
And I think that's a good point too. I think a conversation several series back about this whole idea of going to a yoke system. I think, let me go back. When I first started doing the interior study, working with Shadow and Pixel on this stuff, we had like a F1 car. It had a typical steering wheel and paddles. I thought, it's too car-like. Then we switch gears to this. But notice again, this yoke system can be fly-by-wire, and you grip this beauty and go right to left, and it kind of articulates. It might be a little clumsy yet, but we'll see what we've got here. But I think the idea of getting this thing to really low profile and really kind of spire across that front cockpit.
Yeah, you want to wear it.
Man, that really is cool.
But you still got to be able to get in it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's a good point, too. That whole the entry egress can be very easy. This whole canopy can lift up. Yeah, and can then come back and climb over the top of the.
Or the side escape windows we talked about too. That would like blow out. In the case of.
Well, they can butterfly too. That could be that. We'll get into some of that stuff down the line here, but I think those are the 2 points we're looking at here. But
we got to get this drawn first, and then I think we can work on that escape system. Actually, Diehard, that's a great question about the suspension being active. Absolutely. In fact, it'll be extremely active.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Like road sensing, forward. We talked about having forward sensing. Road sensing, so you could pick up potholes, it could pick up various debris, it could pick up and things like that, so it would be able to raise up when it needs to. Also, another thing is when this car comes into the pits, it's going to have a very unique system that not only has auto jack systems in it, but in order to get access to those wheels, they'll have doors that'll either probably flare up like that, so it makes it easy for the tire to pull. So all of that we're thinking about, but that's a great question.
Excellent question. I think that's it. We call it the TSS system, terrain system.
Oh, Pixel Pixel just gifted a bunch of subs. Thank you, Pixel. That's awesome.
Man, thank you very much.
To Diehard, Fenix, Ballistic, Carson, Doug, all of you guys got subs now. We're going to be. Hey, Pixel. By the way, I need that emote. I need those emotes done.
That's your reward, Pixel.
Yeah, that's your reward. You get to do those now.
But that's a great comment. Now, again, I think one of the key things about this, what we want to lose sight of here, gang, is this. I think you've got a great point, Joe. This whole idea of, we got it.
Yeah, he gave 5, so they're all.
Oh, man.
That's all right. You can gift them. So it's actually really nice. Thanks, Pixel. That was really generous.
We appreciate it.
I'll get to work on those emotes. And if you guys have suggestions for emotes or anything you want to see in the channel, by all means, join the Discord, give us a yell. And let us know.
Fantastic. Yeah, but again, go back to basic conversation. The plan view, I'll do a little say in a moment. Plan view, this is like a wedge that comes in the builds, and then the HUD comes off of that. Do you think this copter system is the right way to go?
Yeah, I mean, I started to think about that, and it's like, for me to drive with that would be really odd. But I mean, I almost feel like at a certain point you kind of need it. I
don't think.
So it's like those shifter, what is it, the street luges.
Yeah.
That's exactly the same system they use, and they're at high speed.
Great analogy.
Yeah, and that's why I start to think is, you're basically wearing that thing on your back.
That's right.
It's a lot like that. So as long as we're focused on this is high speed, high G, but also low speed, high G.
Right, there it is.
Then we I think we're in good shape.
You just brought up a good point too. That from the illustration point, or the design side of it, maybe because of the seating position with that really extreme same almost cradle back system in the H point. This stuff could maybe move up and come further river. So we're actually,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
You kind of want it like laying off of.
Right.
So you're basically making wrist movements at high speed, but then you can also do more extreme movements at high. Now it'll also have the ability to detect the speed and how much, like speed sensing steering.
Right.
You're at high speed on highways, 70 miles an hour, a little tilt of the thing, it only moves a little bit as opposed to jumping the normal amount.
Yeah, but I think
the same concept.
But you've got a good point. I think this to me almost looks like the implication is you've got to be almost upright and begin to pull it like a passenger vehicle. However, take that same motive and come off of this and come rivered with it, almost like two paddles.
Yeah.
And then you've got it, because you're leaning back. That would be really cool.
Yeah, it's like, I think grips would be better because
I do too.
Because another thing that was with the street luge is you can actually grab onto them and use them as stability as long as you don't move them.
No, that's exactly right.
So if you like hard lock, you can actually do it. So that's what I was thinking in this concept, we could do that.
We could do this too. And again, don't misunderstand this comment here, folks. We can do this. We can make these a lot rounder and then high-speed cup containers. The coffee companies that speed and pull the real steering back to the railway. But I'm thinking
you're going to get shot in the morning for that one. German engineers, you get shot in the morning for that one. We don't do cup holders.
No, we don't do cup holders. But I just have to think that to me, I brought that comment up about that. But it's just it's too abstract, too far away from this whole copter system, where this whole thing is just it elevates off the spar. This structure here. But again, moving. Let's go back. There's one.
That's true too. Because we could bring these back inside where they're touch accessible.
That's right. All this can come off the sidewall now. I mean, that'd be a little bit. I like the idea of coming off the tunnel, but maybe we move all this rearward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would agree with that.
So that's part of, okay. So there's one.
Yeah, because one thing with your sight line too is when you're looking down the road, if this is too far or too close, then you'll actually lose focus of what's being displayed on there.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's it's good that that's far away.
Yep.
But it is important that the interactivity of those is close. So
that's a good point too, Shelley. Because these initially were sketched in as just as reference screens, like information stuff. But if they're now tactile, they will have to move back, which is going to be healthy to move all that.
Yeah, you'd never be able to touch them.
No way. That's all visual stuff.
Yep.
All right, so there we go. That's one theme down. So there we go. Here's another one right here. Now it broke into a little bit more. What if it all comes back to a single side? And this is like a yoke system in this. And I did a little thumbnail studies of what do we do with the steering? There's an elevation. Here's another approach that there may be these thrusters. Okay, these move, that's fixed. And same with this. These move, that's fixed.
Okay. Yeah.
So that comes back off the center.
That could be really interesting.
That's not bad.
That would be neat to actually create a physical model of and just feel.
See what it does.
Could be interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and the only thing I can think of is, like I said, G-force. When you're going in for a big stop, or you're coming into a corner, what's keeping you in place?
Yeah.
Obviously, we'd have something like a 5-point or 6-point harness on. But I mean, it's just at that point of. But yeah, I mean that could totally work if you're well seated in. Then the only stress you're putting on this is what you want.
A good point though. In about 5 minutes ago, the conversation. Notice how all the lean is forward on this stuff, but now we're back in an extreme back angle back through here. This comes in and comes back highly more radius to it. That means this thing's going to come back. This should be reversed. This should go the other way. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So we turn that around.
Yeah.
You're at it.
Yep.
See, that's what I was working on this guy. Thinking, well, if it's a seated position.
Okay, I see what you're talking about.
Just turn that right around and then bring it river, because these can kind of turn over themselves. Then you're still back in that seated position that makes it safe.
Right.
But again, that was the way it was running here. So again, just for what we're at, that's conversation's sake here, okay? Let's just do this. So if we're saying to ourselves, the most important ingredient is this. Let's kind of just an elevation. Let's do this. This is that survival cell. Just got to get that in place. Now, let's pull this back, and that's where the upper is. This is where the pilot's going to be located. Shoulder, body form, etc. Here's that sight line. Let's put a helmet on this guy. There he is. There's shoulder. Now arms.
Gotta have arms.
Gotta have that. So if we got that, and there's that. Now let's put the phantom line in here, just where that wheel's going to be located. So we're there. This thing kind of comes up and drops off just a bit. Then it comes back up to that kick line.
So one thing to note, everyone, is that inside here we also have to keep in mind is how. Remember we said that this was like see-through,
right?
But we were going to use screens to do that. So we have to keep that in mind too.
Yeah, I think that once that fender comes into play here, we can actually come back with transparencies in here drop this down and then create glass systems that are transparent, so there's sight lines through that.
Yep.
So that could be part of the process as well.
Yep. Yeah,
so
that's cool.
Let's see, and the inside is nice. Okay, for more information. Ah, cool. All right, so there we are. Now, if I come back in through here, what we're saying is that glass line is now. Let's do this. Here's the actual center line of glass right here. I'm just going to drop that in. That's glass. And this is, again, counterpart that with the fender line. That drops in, comes up. There's my brake line there for glass. There I am sitting in there, etc. Now, and through here, right there is where that spar is going to be located. The rest of this is glass. That spar, meaning that's that piece that wraps around the actual piece itself.
Yep.
So if we come off of that, we're saying this, just an elevation. So if we did this, came back, came off of this, floated in, and really floated this guy, then come right back and then created that guy. There's the HUD off of that, right? So we're right at it. Good?
Yeah.
Now, but the problem is some of the other studies here, we are doing this. Now, look where the hands are, which now tells me this thing can drop off, come into the seat, it's up, then that's going to come back in that direction.
Right. Yeah, it would make more sense.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, well, so another, like driving position is they say to try and get close to 90 degrees with your elbows. In this particular case, it doesn't really, it's more of a comfort thing.
Yeah,
you don't want they don't want you holding on to something and
straight
then
arms.
having your stress of your arms. Right. But with this, if we just had the, like something that would rest right here with your shoulder.
So let's do this. If this shoulder, if we drop that form down and came back to this,
there you go.
And then again, on the sidewall of the machine, something comes in and provides that comfort area right there.
Yep, exactly.
So that's nice. That could come that could be built right off the seat structure. So
because again, now you're just articulating your wrists as opposed to trying to move your whole arms and shoulder.
You just designed a new seat. You just designed a new seat. Look at this. There's the back wall. There's the headrest area here.
I'll build it for my simulator.
They're right through here, and look at that. Shadow, you just did a nice job of a teardrop in there. Look at that, that bucket. So there's seating. Pardon me for the scratches here. By the way, guys, today, those of you tuning in, this is not going to be a rendering day. This is a thinking day. So
we're concepting. Yeah, so we want to hear your ideas.
Yeah, just fire away. What are we doing okay here? What do you think?
Or are we fired?
Well, see you later. So we go back to ground here. All right, let's do this. If I come back here for just a second, let's kind of rough this thing in. So I'm here. I'm going to come back to this. There it is. There's my spar. And bring that and just kind of roll that in. Let's do a couple of real quick studies here. There's glass. Comes around. And around it does this. And just got to be real. Let's just open that up. Let's do that. Now come back to my center line, which is here. Now drop that down. What we're saying in essence is basically this, right? That make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So there we are here. I'm not so happy with that. Let's just put this in place just for fun here. Let's see what this does. So if that's HUD, it comes off that spar, and maybe that's all part of the process there. That cantilever was off of that guy. So far, so good?
Yeah, that's where you want to look. Yeah, as long as that's thin as a hair, then
we're good.
To the driver, we're good.
Let's just say that's nothing more than this, a printed piece of glass.
Yep.
Now, we come off of this guy with a little bit of a platform. So now, what we want to do is this. Let's kind of create something here, just see what works. Let's bring the bridge further rearward. But let's bring the bridge off of the sidewall here. Let's drop this in. So that section comes in. Let's go behind this guy. And now we have that kind of a spar. So that gives me a bridge to work with right there. So now let me drop this down. Let's open that up. Bring that across. Let's open this up a bit more. So,
all right, we got a lot more room to play with now.
Yeah, a lot more. Yeah.
The front out.
So there it is. So that's going to come in, and that's going to be front to cowl right there. This is a coast. This guy is critical. That's the spar right there. Now we come back in through here. All right, now what do we do there? This comes back in. Pardon my hands here, Shadow. Let's roll that in, and let's roll that in. Let's take that back. All right, so far so good. So what do we do up here? Oh, it would really be cool.
Uh-oh.
Every now and then the brain works, man. It's fun. Well, what if we did this? How about this? If we came back up that center line, let me here. Let's draw this back. Let's draw that back. Where that brake is. All this behind this is all dead space. That comes in behind here. That's all open space. Let's tone that in. Oh, I'm going to add a screen here. Oh, let's see. Linear. Oh, does it have to be Chrome Pod 2 or as Origin is?
No, it doesn't have to be.
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all. So there we go. That's that. Now, pardon me, let's go back to this thought. Let's tone this in. That's negative. That's all negative, right? That goes even further than that. It goes right around the cowl. So let's just say that's happening there. What if, now don't kick me here, Shadow. what if this whole upper platform, this is just a piece of just glass. That's an info piece. We need that little platform there. So it's going to start there. Then out of that comes a copter pot. Let's just do that. What if this did this?
Turns into usable, kind of that wraparound kind of console.
Yeah, but
turns into usable.
Got auxiliary info screens that pop out of that guy. So you have this coming out of that aperture right there. And
yeah, like another
complementary set of gauges or instrumentation. So it's now it's doing this. These are just roughies, guys, so bear with me here. So that comes out of that nacelle right there. That comes out of that opening. How cool would that be? So there's a little recess in here.
Right.
But maybe they can become...
Which are just, like, again, clear glass.
Yes, those are just glass
LCD.
panels.
Well, not glass, but...
But you know what would be really cool? We could use this. Get this. That's why using those shelves, using the cantilever or that bridge in the cockpit. Why is it there? For this reason. These guys come up spontaneously according to active arrow. Right side control steering, left side control. So if this undulation changes, they sense it.
That could be interesting.
It keeps the vehicle square.
Well, yeah, it could. Also, it's that driver feedback. It's the car talking to the driver, but the driver is still responsible for the feedback.
Absolutely.
So that's the big thing in Formula One is they don't want any automatic system.
None.
And that's true. That should be true in all racing. It should be up to the driver to react to the system as opposed to the system reacting the car for the driver.
Yeah, it's like back to the old Jimmy Clark comment. It's a buddy car. Make it one. Remember that? Too many bells and whistles. All right, so let's say that's primary right there.
He probably wouldn't like this car.
No, he wouldn't. He'd hate it. Secondary. But this is all arrow. That's active arrow. Those panels tell me where I am. Make sense?
Yeah. I could see that, yeah, and that again, it's those little finite changes. So like the reason, like in a simulator, everyone was trying to do just a standard 16:9 screen. Well, they didn't realize that your eyes see like a really wide angle, and being able to see the horizon change just slightly, the car is rolling.
Exactly.
So that information there, because we don't have that peripheral vision now, because the side pods are essentially in the way. Yeah. That could feed that back. That's good.
If we're going to go to a bridge system, and I think it should be elevated too. So let's just kind of, for the now, it's
well,
flat.
you want it in the sight line, because these are clear and they have very little information on, but they're feeding him the right information.
That's right. It's letting him know where, what, when, and how. So there you are. So that's active arrow. So that's arrow right there. All right. So that justifies that bridge. Now we could kind of go to a thin plane here, but I'm just trying to build a case for why this, and this off of that spark is critical. So let's go back to this. Now we're saying is this: we've got a shelf coming off of this. That's where the active arrow stuff is, right and left of the flank. Right, making sense. So now we come back into this thing. Let's just kind of gut this thing.
Those wouldn't even have to be that big either.
No,
that's the thing. Yeah,
no, they could be
just enough.
That's right. And really cool. You can actually take these guys and split
This is
them.
why we never get done with this. Is we come up with better ideas.
Not my fault.
No.
Well, there it is. So
I think you spend the next 10 years on this.
No, we're gonna resolve this thing real quick. That's it. Within the next 2 sessions, we're gonna be done. So really,
we got to make a new one every year. So
that's right.
We'll just make it better.
Yeah, we'll make it hotter. All right. So what if we did this? What if there are 4 of these guys and they're split, like the current McLaren? This is front, this is rear. Yeah. This is front and that's rear. So they actually interchange with one another.
Yep.
Minimize. Okay, so let's move on here.
You don't even know when you're braking that hard because you're so well strapped in you don't know.
You don't know it. Which reminds me, I saw a video of the 962 at Indy, the Porsche. Key, it's a key system, right? So he's going through all the twisties at the Formula One circuit at Indy. And Stan said, watch the key as he's going through these curves. That key was dead perpendicular, didn't move right or left. That car was so glued to the ground.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
anyway,
crazy.
let's do this. So let's come back in again. Now, this gets back into this whole concept.
There probably won't be a key in this car.
No, there will not be a key in this one. No keys whatsoever. The only key is cool. There'll be a cool key. So let's come back and kind of get the beef off of this thing. That comes underneath. Now let's kind of get some structure in this thing. So that's going to kick in. It's going to give me this. Now it's going to drop back in now to seating. This is where we want to get to. That seating is going to sit right in through here, roughly speaking, right there. Right? So all the more reason to bring these guys, let's just do one side. Let's bring these guys back. That steering apparatus is going to be here, in a sense.
Yeah, how would they grip onto it? Would it be like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Would it be like that? I think the 45 is the natural.
Hands up, yeah, 45.
Well, it's the most comfortable.
Yeah, why not? Why not just make that as literal as that?
Just like Stan was saying, is you want the driver to be comfortable but not fall asleep.
That's right. See, that's true.
I laughed at 300 miles an hour.
Try that.
I certainly hope you're not falling asleep.
So that's kind of neat. So in the plan view, that can come back and do the following here. So this is kind of a rough setup here, but here we are. That could be kind of neat. That actually, those butterflies are coming back like so. So you're actually in that thing, gripping it here. Let's kind of tone that in. So there's one side, and there's the other side. Those are the paddles. Don't put more body to it, but that's the basic premise, where they come further rearward, and if I do an elevation of this thing, it actually drops into the seat, and they come off of that system and go back like so. Then it becomes, this is all grip.
Yeah.
That makes sense? Then we can put a split line here to kind of move it right and left for steering and so forth.
Oh yeah, like finite adjustments, or maybe they can actually control the arrow going into a corner based on their own experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the tactical
because it's a whole other set of controls.
It is
within the same system.
No, they don't. But I think that's the idea. Now, why here? Now, I'm located here. Here's my hand. Here's my wrist. Here's my arm. Now, here's that pad system. There's the upper arm, shoulder, head system, cockpit or masking system, and there's my arms coming right back into this thing.
Yeah, and it's relaxed. Yep.
There it is. Oh.
Hey, there! Oh, Pixel again. Thank you. Pixel dropping the bomb.
Man, thank you very much. Thank you, Pixel.
Buddy.
So again, let's back to this guy. Now we went back to this concept here where we had this controversy here where we had the touch screens way far forward.
Too far forward.
No, they should be tactical. Now maybe they'll come back in through here. And off of these.
Yeah, really, you want them right where if the driver's on his control, he can just reach.
Just touch.
Yeah, it's very it's close, but it'll never be in the way.
That's
actually how I designed my cockpit.
There it is. So maybe that comes in like so.
So like this, the right stick and left stick get. I mean, they're literally a half inch from the screen, but I'll never hit it. So,
there you go. Maybe that's the relationship hand to touch.
Yep. Yeah, you take the maximum extent and then absolutely. Or maybe shift them off the side. The problem is with this, you're going so fast, you don't want to look away as much.
No. I think this is going to be a minor setup here. That's going to be all primary up here, I think. This is going to be, now maybe that, I just thought of something. This is neat. I think that you're right. Getting that guy almost compatible with the pad.
But this is like, like pit screens. When you're coming into a pit, you're actually slowing down, you're into a more of a, you could actually reach down, do some quick configs, and then, fuel calc, say what you want maybe for your next run or stuff like that. Yeah.
Neat. So let's do that. That's got to be part of the whole process. So that if that becomes the grip system here, the mechanism, that's got to be within touch control. So that we'll have to do a nice design of maybe graphing it off of the spine here as it comes back into the seating.
And these can even move out of, we'll probably want to move out of the way when you get in.
Oh, yeah.
So, we'll have to think of a retraction system.
Yeah, no, maybe they're, and static to do this. Let's do this. In static system, they're doing this. They're buried inside the sidewall.
That's what I was just thinking. It like flattens out and slides in.
But as soon as the ignition hits, the thing pivots out.
Yep.
And there she is.
Engaged.
Yeah, cool. Good man, Shadow. That's cool.
Yeah, keep thinking how we're going to get into this thing. you got to lay into it.
I'll tell you what, I thought about that over the last couple of days, and I've got some things we'll kick around here the next few days about entry egress. A lot of it has to do with this whole spine. If we look at this in perspective, that front end, now we should be doing this. Pardon me, I just switched gears here. Right now we're here. Almost got that almost like
a beak.
A cone. But if we did this, and just came back with a little bit more of that shark nose on its beauty. All of the original G. There it is, coming in here. And there's my fender swell coming off of that. And now it comes back. There's my new center line.
Yeah.
That could be really neat, where we actually take this thing and give ourselves some room down here, fracture this canopy.
Ah, okay.
Fracture the canopy, and then this whole thing moves up, so it goes in that direction. So it's a front tilt.
Yep.
And then, you know, really be neat. Why not? That spar now becomes really, really critical.
Well, it's your hand. Yeah, that's where you put your hand when you go to get in. It's like almost like a la roll cage.
and this portion here, that portion there. Let's do this. This. That whole bridge goes with it.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, that would be crazy.
So what you're left with is this.
Well, you definitely would be jumping right in.
You're into it. There it is. So
well, that goes good with the Le Mans start.
Yeah. Right? That was the old Dan Gurney bit. No, was it Ken Miles? Couldn't close his door for the first 20 miles?
Yeah. No, it was one guy couldn't get it to the first stop.
That's right. That's right. There it is. But I think that could be kind of, that's a good point. That's why.
Well, it's the whole reason why Porsche put the starter on the left-hand side.
Boy, that's true. That is so true.
Because they got to put it in gear and do everything with their right hand, so they don't want to turn the key with their right hand, so they put the starter on. So if any of you guys ever get in a Porsche, wonder why the ignition's on the left-hand side. Now you know.
That's why.
It's the Le Mans start.
Le Mans start, absolutely. So there we are. What do you think, gang? We're making progress here with some of the thinking process. We're just going to hold on and get some feedback here from you guys.
Yeah, you guys. Hey, you guys.
Hey, how you doing?
You missed my Saturday show. I'm actually doing a Mafia stream. Oh, it's a riot.
Oh, that's going to be great. That'll be really cool.
You guys.
Hey, you guys.
I was talking like that the whole next day. Drove my wife nuts.
I love that. There's something about that whole game. Just, hey, how you doing?
How you doing? So what do you guys think?
Forget about it.
Are we getting close? Are we thinking in the right direction? You have a better idea?
Let me move this in just a bit here.
We could probably keep going on this for probably years to come.
But we are relying on your input, but don't forget the fact that we want this thing to be extremely light, very airy and wearable, but at the same time accessible. But putting things like this and then pushing this stuff back again in a better hand control system for steering and acceleration, etc. Much better. And I do think this is going to be really healthy. We opened up that area.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to
Well, that was in the original design too. I think we just started getting more nose because of like a modern Formula One Indy cars.
Yes.
But they were like, wait a minute, we don't have to.
No, I did. That was my fault. I kept thinning that thing down, thinking about the needle nose, but we don't need it.
Yeah, we don't need it.
What do you think,
because we use that air coming off of there, so as opposed to it just being lost and tumbled.
Outstanding.
Love it.
What do you think, gang? So far, so good. Can we go ahead here? Well, it's pretty quiet out there.
It's 5 o'clock.
It's 5 p.m. there. All right, let's do this. Now, let's kind of keep that intact here for a second. Let's put that in there, and let's do this. Now, another thought would be this. If we just what if we did this thing here? If we actually come off this thing and did this?
One thing I was actually thinking too is, since we would tilt that whole thing up, what if this was almost like a hollow display?
What about this? You took the. I tell you, great minds think alike. Man. Instead of having this spire in here, why not this?
Oh yeah, Die Hard. It'll definitely be adjustable. So one thing about racing Die Hard is you go in before you even turn the car on for something called a seat fitting. It's not just the seat; it's everything.
Right.
So what they do is they predefine all the settings for your mirror, your height of where the seat's at, the type of controls that you want on the dash, the way they're set up, the hand controls on the wheel. There's a number of things that you go through, so they know when you get to the track and you're going to go jump in the car, they just quickly reset those.
It's all preset.
So yeah, absolutely.
No
definitely
question.
Definitely have the ability to support somebody that's 6'2" and down to probably 4 what?
Yeah, I mean, what 5?
We'll be a little jockey.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll be a rocket.
The Kentucky GTR. What if we did this? What if we eliminated that bridge altogether and this is all glass?
Yeah. Oh well, we keep saying glass, but yeah, clear material.
Clear material. It's some sort of Lexan of some sort, but maybe that's part of the whole process. That thing just kind of rolls off.
Yeah.
This has a bit of it now. Instead of a bridge, this drops just a bit. So that section comes in and does this. Metal, the material, the bridge, drops.
You're right. It's just blended into it.
Yeah, it just blends right in.
I like that.
That's kind of cleans things up too, right?
Yeah, it cleans it up, and it also allows basically a projection to be anywhere in the system, as opposed to just being in
right there.
You know, maybe, I don't know, for some reason you're stuck behind somebody and you're always looking left and right. Yeah. Maybe you want the information to the side.
But now that doesn't exist. What if this takes place by doing here's that cross member, that spar right there, right? Let me draw through this guy. There's our cross member coming in. That's the structural piece. What if in the structural piece that has a little bit of body to it, there's a rainbow in here?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Totally.
And that becomes part of a secondary business of information where that's all IP information stuff. This is all, again, part of that glass, and it eliminates this. That's all that to that, and it's just real.
And so
slick.
Another thing that we're doing in modern GTR cars is just like the Ferrari. It has both it has slip identifiers on it. So essentially, it's a gauge that fills up when it tells you a right rear slipping, left rear slipping, front. So those can even be just those gauges that fill up, and then as well as like RPM and things like that.
Fantastic.
So it fills that data up, and then they also have one for brakes as well. It tells you brake slip and tells you when it's actually, because your brake could be gripping, but the tire could be slipping.
Yeah.
So it basically feeds you that data by a small gauge.
I'm with that. I'm listening.
Because it's not actually like numerical data. It's just it's a fill-in gauge that when they see red, they know it's brake slip. But when we see orange, it's like tire slip.
Yeah. Now, that's cool. What if we did this? And off of that whole upper that cantilever, it's this. There's the brow piece.
Yeah, it's just a band.
Just a band that does that.
No, that's brilliant.
That comes off of that. Now, if we can back off of that's going to drop downhill. Now, back in the center line. Let's draw through this guy. This is front of vehicle out here. There it is. Now, we drop down off that center line. Now we've got this thing going on, where we actually take this thing, and now it's that material that does this. Follows that same shape. Opens up a little bit. Does this. Drops in.
Yeah, that's a lot cleaner, too.
Drops in.
It'd be a lot easier to turn into a flip up as well.
Absolutely. So this is all information material here.
Yeah, it's just bands of basically light that fill up.
There it is there. Just to fill that up. Now up that center line is
the one Ferrari driver, when they were driving the 488 for the first time, he didn't realize what was happening. He thought it was the turbo not engaging, but it was really the rear wheel slipping because they're so smooth now. He didn't know. He's like, there's just no power. But it puts it down so even, it's hard to tell.
No, it's so fluid.
So now we know.
Cool. So that's even cooler. Now look at this. That's neat. Now we come off of that front end. That gives us room to kind of really play into this whole idea. Except that
it opens it up.
Yeah, copter. Then if we go back in through here, this is really rough to get the tunnel down. There are the fold outs. Pardon me, let's go the other way. Just roughing it in. There are the fold outs, and they kind of pivot back in off of this. Pardon me, or maybe they come. Anyway, let's go back in.
They go somewhere.
They go somewhere. I'm just going to drop.
Well,
this
they can even
place.
just. Just close up, and then get out of the way.
Off of that is now, this is really looking cool. There's that. Anyhow.
Kind of reminds me of those the Viking horns that were on the one McLaren.
But anyway, that could be.
Well, I mean, you look at that and you think, that actually would be probably a really good control system because it's very finite and it has it basically adds more than 2 degrees of access.
Yeah.
You're almost to 6. Actually, you probably can get more than 6 if you really wanted. But you would still have enough control to not, like G-forces aren't throwing around.
Right.
But again, being planted in this seat is key.
Boy, that is true. And the more you come back, this will be all undershadowed. Pardon me, I'm listening. That's all.
No. Yeah.
That'll come through.
Yeah, and doing a halo display here, and then this light display
so much cleaner.
It's going to be
It
way
doesn't look
better.
as cluttered. This is aircraft, but this is more aircraft, but in the next generation where it's all LED.
We're basically building what we need for this car. This is designed for this car.
So let's do this. Just to see if this is again. Sorry for this thing being so rough, but I'm just trying to get an idea of what this thing might look like from the other perspective here. This comes back in. There's a connection down through here. Comes back into that. And then they've got this coming off again. And this can be all floating here. And it's just now let's animate this thing. Now you can put some more guts into this guy. We can cut into this beauty and start breaking the surfaces up a little bit, make it a little bit more interesting for like storage controls or whatever. Anyway, that's what do you think?
Yeah, this is way cleaner, way more functional too. Yeah. Yeah.
Streamlabs. You can, that's right.
Black magic.
Black magic to me.
Yeah, I could never.
Well, I think we've got something. We've got something here. I mean, do we need those wings? Did this thing just come over and end there? I mean, those are the next set of sketches we'll do to really kind of tune in and say. But I think we've got a great solution here in terms of it's not quite designed yet, but here and here make so much more sense as opposed to where we were this. Look at the difference.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, you're right. This is very aircrafty, kind of almost a little tip towards luxury.
Yep, it is. It's a little bit more elegant, but I think
this is way more functional.
Yes, it is. You know what? The more I think about this,
here's another hour.
Here's another variation, another hour show. But instead of this being on an angle, I'll draw right over the top of it. Why not let that slide through and end here, so to speak? That becomes just a cantilevered piece. It comes off the seating system. Seating is back in 3R now. There's my seat, right? So I'm a part of that. But instead of this being on an angle, why not just be honest? Come straight up and just crown it right around here.
Yeah.
And just let that stand up, because you're going to see through it anyway.
Okay.
It might not be as romantic looking, but at least, I don't know, we'll have to look at how that begins to fit the model, but I don't know.
Well, you know what this could be is, we talked about being able to see through, we're going to have some glass there, but there's still a tire there, right? You're not going to be able to see through that.
Right.
And there's brakes and suspension and stuff that's going to be in there. Maybe we curve this around, and that's all the display that lets you see through.
It's brilliant. See, I knew that's why he's here. He knows his stuff. So we bring this around.
Because when you're turning into a corner, your head's leaning towards where you're going. You're already looking kind of down a little bit.
So there it is.
So you'd be looking at that.
There's glass right there. That's all part
of
the extra.
That's all display.
That's all. Yeah, nice. That's really cool.
That's what we're missing.
Yeah, that's what we're missing. So if I did this, if I drew through this guy, make a mess of this sketch, there's my fender line, and it drops in and does the following. And then that is related right through on the outside of them.
Right. Yeah, so what we should do next is where is that tire? It's right there.
Right.
And so we would know, and then also draw, this the top of the fender. Yeah, the top of the fender. So we know so that's the top of the fender. But maybe actually drawing a sight line from the driver to see, and then looking at this as actually being replaced.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the wide line here, but again, notice that's the wide line. The inboard line can be this.
It could be higher. It could be higher because these would be like a clear screen.
Yep.
So when you're not driving or whatever, you would.
This all drops off.
It would just be off and clear.
There's the actual fender itself. There's the actual inside line here coming off of that shape. That makes sense or not?
Yeah.
Then we're here, and that's all part. That's all interior. Yeah, that's gonna be kind of cool.
Yep.
Which now means this is a thinking day, man. So thank you for your patience. So this drops a bit. This you barely see. That comes up, goes uphill. There's my.
That's gonna be so cool. It's so cool because no other car's ever done that.
No, they haven't.
So they haven't had reliable technology to look through something.
Not like this.
And we're using camera magic and screens.
That's that.
And nowadays we can make them reliable enough where it actually works.
It's there. Look at this. Perfect. Ropes right around.
Yep.
And picks up that sight line right there.
Right. So now your driver is looking through this screen, which is essentially if it was off, you would see clear and you would see this tire or what's behind it. Yeah.
Correct. So if we put this in place now, there, just for what it's worth, there's that upper line. Shoulder, arms. There's that piece. There's a copter portion here. There are the hand grips. Those are the digital screens. And there's my seating position.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. That makes that's pretty scratchy here, guys, but is that making sense? It's the Streamlabs. Okay.
Yep, all good.
What do you think, guys? That's a good idea, Shadow. Where this thing comes right around and just opens right like a big parabolic curve.
Yep.
And just rolls right into the actual sight line.
Yep. Yeah, it's not right where you naturally want to look anyway.
That's cool. Very cool.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I think there's just something, and again, being much more airy, or airier, if there's such a term, to just really drop this thing in. It's not quite there yet, but we have a plan view of this thing.
What's neat about this too is with your idea with this whole thing flipping up. If anything ever happened during a race, it would be probably like a simple unplug, replug, new one in. So that's another good idea with pulling that forward, because when a driver jumps in, he's doing usually 5 or 6 things. Hooking a water bottle, hooking his radio in, doing all that sort of thing. So it eliminates the ability for a mechanic and a driver to be accessing the same spot at the same time.
No, that's a great point.
So, that's a good idea.
Outstanding point. There's a lot of ground here today, guys. This is great stuff. Good conversation. So it really is. I mean,
we keep getting better and better and better.
I think
never settle, right? Never settle.
Right. You and I are in the same wavelength. We're not going to really delay this thing. This is the final, as far as I'm concerned, the final go around, and just getting some ideas down about where do we take this thing to complete it. I think the exterior is good. This conversation today has been terrific on the interior. My task now is to go from these dogs, which is right here. Let's go to that big guy. Look at the difference here. If I can find it somewhere in here.
Is it one of these? No, these are the ones.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
Look at the difference. We went from that, which kind of gives you the aircraft feel, to this very interesting. Let's see, with diehard. I like the connected panel style instead of the small restricted. Me too. Yeah. Good stuff, diehard. So there you are. Look at the difference in concept here. So when it's all said and done, well, let's do this. We've got time. We've got about 30 seconds here. When it's all said and done, you can now do this. It's just going to be this. That opens up. That opens up. That gives me the connector. That comes up and gives me this. That's that spar in the glass itself. That rolls over and does this. And that can be a little thinner, but that's where that weight is going to be right there. Off my center line, there's my center line of glass here. That takes me in. That goes around here like so. I'm going to bring it uphill. There's my now center line. Now the beauty of this is stand that beauty up, and how about this? We just roll that thing right in.
Yeah, and see, like Diehard said, he likes the look of it. But Diehard, there's one thing that's very critical about this is when you're racing, especially when you get one of the biggest qualities in a race driver that is good is the ability for a driver to get into any car and adapt. Exactly. So this lowers that adaptation rate, because it would be like from today's standards to jumping into this thing. This would be massive. So the adaptation rate for this is much lower with a one continuous large screen like that, because you're already looking in that direction naturally.
Yes, you are.
So because you have to look into your apex. You have to look into your corners. You have to look at where all you have to do with the race car is look where you want the car to go, and that's where it'll go.
That's where it wants to be.
So and that's why something like this sort of screen is so important, is because they're already in that natural form of looking there. Despite they can't see it because it's physically blocked, there's a screen there showing them exactly what would be there.
Yes, sir.
So it's wall, and there's a camera on the other side displaying that. You're seeing the image here, and then you basically are looking right through it. It's kind of like X-ray vision.
There it is. So a little bit of sweep in this guy, but that's the basic character right there. I'm coming off of that vertical, a little bit of an angle, drop in again. There's my new center line. Yeah, that's the basic character right there. How much cleaner that is. Whoops, pardon me.
Yeah, what do you think, guys? We probably would want to round this a little bit more, because you'd want it to be more natural, because you wouldn't want like a crease kind of feeling to it.
Let's do this. Let's roll that in.
Yep.
Let's just kind of get rid of this. It kind of diminishes.
Yeah, I would even cut it
softer.
Less softer here, because you want it to feel like it's a wraparound more, because as the aspect change of the physical screen displaying the information, being an image, you're going to want that to be smooth.
Let's do this here.
There you go.
It rolls in like that. Let's get that.
That's perfect.
Get that big old fat pencil here. Just roll this, and there's a new shape right there. It rolls in.
Is that why you use the dark pencils? Is there kind of basically that's your edit?
Yeah, that's it.
I noticed that.
That's how you cheat.
That's how you cheat. I meant to do that, right?
Yeah, I meant to do that. That worked out really good.
I know, I meant to do that.
What card did you pick? It was the wrong one.
What was your card? That's not
Sorry, lady, that's the wrong one. I've got it right here. It's up my sleeve. But now look at that. Now that's got a nice character to it, right?
Now you're talking. Yeah, and you have your basically image-based data up there.
Make sure we get this thing to go in the same format. That's going to open up a little bit more. That's going to open up and do that. Then it just rolls in and does that.
Yeah, because it's going along the glass anyway.
Yeah. Nice. That's going to be so much better. What do you think, guys?
Absolutely. You don't know whether in the time, less sloppy, right by hand.
What did you say?
I tried writing a letter once. It was terrifying.
You know, it opens up here, and a real opportunity to do the following. Once we have that down, Shadow, this is really going to be cool. Now we've got that glass spire right here. Let's open that up and do this. Now, from the outside, so to speak, bringing the inside to the outside to the inside. Now we've got the idea of coming back and a lot more mechanical with some of the facet work on the skin of the exterior.
Yeah.
So we can kind of build this up and do a lot more exaggeration. Kick up the belt line. There's my side. Let's do this. There's my belt line that comes off the wheel. There's the belt line upper in the wheel, losing it right there. Look at that.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's right where you'd be looking.
And then here's the other side here. Let's bring that across. There's the inside of the tire. Drop line, marry it in. Oh, we are so good, it's scary.
That's because it's something you want to wear.
That's right. This is better than Ralph Lauren. But look at that. Is that cool or what?
Yeah.
There's
with the kick forward idea, it makes it really easy to get into.
Yeah,
and with those side to kind of breakaways you were talking about, that makes it easy escape because in case of what's on its roof.
Nice.
God forbid.
No, we won't have that. We'll be in the lead. We'll be laughing.
That's right. The only thing we need is a rear view mirror.
That's right. You're what? 15 seconds behind, but Mr. Miles, you didn't go the full. Oh, I still can't get over that story.
You didn't go the full distance.
Oh, you didn't go the full distance. You hot dog. Thank you, Mr. Ford. Anyway, that's got a nice. What do you think, gang? We're gonna wrap it up here. That look pretty clean to you guys? I'm sorry, we just get some feedback. What do you think? Shall we have some feedback here?
No, I love these sessions because it's just.
Me too. It's just very energizing.
Better and better and better and better.
Well, as I said to you before we started the stream, I think what concerns me is I'm out here on an island by myself looking at this system, but you get good input like from yourself and the people on the chat room system. Boy, it really makes a huge difference.
Much more clean and much more origin style. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, because, actually one thing, Die Hard, we haven't really seen is a really good shot of the G12's interior. So we have no idea how, because we looked at it originally, we're like, how did two people even fit in there?
You know what they did with the interior? You ready for this, Die Hard?
I mean, we only have, there's only one picture, really.
Yeah, I saw this.
Of course you did.
I did. That was it. And there's a great big huge shelf out there that came around to pick up the nose in this guy.
Yep.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
And those were just they're a little lean to them, but that's all it was. It was nothing dramatic at all.
Yeah. Well, that's
so I think this is.
I mean, electric cars, if you think about it, ours isn't electric, but electric has a lot less data to display because there's really only a battery and charge and maybe a temperature, and that's it.
Absolutely. I think. Pardon me, I'm listening here. One more.
But our hydrogen, so what we're using in this car is something called dry hydrogen.
Yes.
It's conceivable. It's plausible. We just haven't figured out exactly how to do it. So dry hydrogen obviously is ultra dense and it's very stable. But you could break it down at a very high rate in the right environment and then use it for fuel. So this is a gas-sounding kind of car. It's going to have a real engine note to it. It's not going to be some boring electric.
No.
This thing's going to sound like an animal.
It will be absolutely vicious.
Yes. So that's one reason why we stuck with hydrogen. So.
Yeah. Yep. And I think my task now, and our task, is to get this character right. So if I get that sweep in here, and then we roll that out of there, and just really thin this beauty up and let it disappear. That's got some real grace to it. That's kind of neat. That parabolic curve.
I love that. Yeah, yeah. No, so he keeps drawing this line too. That's a center line, just so you know.
Yeah,
that line doesn't actually exist.
No, that's just an old man like me trying to find my references.
Figure out where your zero is.
Where am I here? So there it is. There's downhill, and there's the actual fender. Oh, this is going to be that really great stuff today, guys.
I love it. I love it.
Well, what do you think? We're going to wrap this beauty up here.
Yeah, let's. So, guys, the Discord is in there. Definitely jump in there and give us a show, give us a yell, show us what you're working on. One thing I do want to go over before is the project
gets out of the way here.
I keep talking about, or as the streaming background, guys. So this, and the camera's not going to do it justice because it's not big enough. So this is a scale drawing of what the foam, what's it called? Gator foam.
Yeah.
It's a gator foam design that's going to be, so this is actually all going to be cut into 3D gator foam and pieced together as my background. So this is kind of where it's at right now.
Nice.
Obviously, it's very Vanguard looking. We're going to do some modifications. Pixel's going to do some magic on it. But we're going to get this all cut out, hopefully soon enough. No huge rush, but definitely soon enough. So I'm super excited about this. This is something we've been working on for a long time. We've gone through so many iterations of what we were going to do for the background to actually stick into it.
It's a great point you made, though. I think part of the reason for the conversation, and not the delay so much, but I think both of us and your audience, the audience, I think, is the same way. We are really tuned into quality stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything that's second rate, nor does Shadow or anybody else on the chat system there. So the reason behind this is what's going to be great when it's all said and done is that this is going to be enlarged 3 times size, and it'll be the backdrop for Shadow's area, and we're going to be able to we'll be able to take, for example, the upper portion here. This will go flat black cockpit, maybe a light gray body form in argents and silvers, and really begin to decorate this thing. So not decorate, but point this thing with a really neat series of colors. So that thing's going to sing back there. And it'll be this is one half. It'll be the other half will be a mirror image. It's going to be drop dead awesome.
Yeah. So this will sit up right behind me, and then the rest of this is actually all going to be green screen.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of cool ideas. I'm not going to expose about what I'm going to do with that area, but it's going to be super neat though. So yeah, another cool thing that Dr. C's working on. Really excited about.
It's going to be fun, gang. So that's where we are today. But I can't thank you enough again for tuning in. A lot of fun for me having the interface of you on the system and also Shadow in the studio. You're just kind of putting some ideas together. Big help.
Absolutely.
And if you have any drawing systems or questions about drawing in general, nice choice of ship. I agree. Nice job there, Diehard. It was a good one. So please visit my website at drcontrast.com, and please, if you have any drawing concerns, I've got a great program on that website called Dr. Contrast and Basic Learning Systems and so forth. So once again, thank you so much for the time. It's always a joy to be with you guys, and especially Shadow. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I love coming to Contrast Dynamics.
Yeah, you and me both. And it's just a shared commodity. It's good to have you on the studio here today. So once again, gang, and wrapping it all up, thanks again for your time and effort, and always remember to never forget to dare to be great because you are. There we are. Thumbs up. Thanks very much, gang. Take care.
Take care.
That was
cool.
Yeah, that was so
okay?
Cool. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's still live.
Ooh.
Yeah. Just hit okay. It's fine. Oh, no, I hit cancel. And you actually just hit the wrong button. Hit that one right there.